So guys, I want you to get the most out of every session that you do here on the Athlete Pathway. And what I want you to constantly think about is progressive overload, okay? Are you creating enough stimulus in the work, in the exercise that you're doing to create change? Now, obviously within the program, you're going to be following a certain amount of reps, certain amount of sets. You're going to have required rest, and there's going to be a progression over the weeks as to what you should be doing. However, I also want you to be accountable to yourself, and I want you to be aware of what you're lifting. And in terms of, as long as you're maintaining a good technique, you're feeling confident with the movement, guys, you should be really kind of experiencing kind of work. Okay, so what I mean by that is, a lot of people can get into a strength program and they can go through the motions, hitting their reps, hitting their sets, and they're not really tweaking much. Okay, they're just kind of going through the motions, and they're not increasing in the intensity. And this is where obviously your communication with myself comes in, because I want you to constantly kind of talk to me about the effort level of the effort of the session. I might ask you about your RPE, your perceived exertion, and that's super important, because we need you to be constantly kind of working hard. Like it sounds obvious, but you'd be amazed how many people can not struggle. Okay, we need to find that struggle within the workout, because that's only there in the struggle that we find that adaptation, that change. So progressive overload can come in a number of different ways, can be delivered in a number of different ways: increasing reps, increasing sets, decreasing the time, increasing the time under tension, so the speed of the repetition. But essentially, what I'm asking you to do is make sure you're being accountable to yourself. You're being aware of how hard you're working across the weeks, across the sessions. And because if you want to see change, you're going to need to make sure that you really are being aware of how hard you're working. And don't be afraid to up the weight a little bit. Those last few reps of a set should be tough. You should be having to fully brace, fully concentrate, coordinate through that repetition. That is where the magic is. Okay, the magic is in the struggle. So if you're really working on that, that's where you're going to see the results. Now, obviously, don't get me wrong. We're not looking to. We don't want to be failing, and we don't want to be obviously just miserably struggling the whole time. But what I am saying is that those last few reps of every set, that you should be working pretty damn hard. Okay, kind of an 8 or a 9 out of 10 effort. All right, because that's where the magic is. All right, so progressive overload, hugely important when it comes to any training program. And again, if you are unsure of where you're at in terms of it, let's talk. We can obviously retest again, but I think essentially for you, it's been my message here is for you guys to constantly be accountable to yourself, monitor how you're feeling, and then obviously we can then push on and keep you moving forwards with the intensity.